In the serene forests of Jetavana, the Buddha sat beneath a tree, radiating wisdom and compassion. Disciples gathered eagerly, their hearts open to receive his teachings. Among them was Sudatta, a wealthy merchant troubled by fear and uncertainty. He approached the Buddha with folded hands, his face reflecting his inner turmoil. "Blessed One," Sudatta began, his voice trembling, "I am trapped by my fears and the burdens of my livelihood." The Buddha gazed at Sudatta with eyes full of understanding, his presence calming the troubled merchant. "Sudatta," the Buddha said softly, "fear is born from attachment and the clinging to illusions of permanence." Sudatta listened intently, his mind yearning for clarity and peace. "Our work and possessions," the Buddha continued, "are like the leaves carried by the wind, never staying in one place." The disciples nodded, their understanding deepening as the Buddha spoke. "To abandon fear, you must first see the truth of impermanence," the Buddha explained. "All that arises will also pass away, as the sun sets and rises anew." Sudatta pondered these words, his heart seeking the courage to embrace this wisdom. "Blessed One," he asked, "how can I overcome the fear of leaving my trade and stepping into the unknown?" The Buddha smiled gently, his presence a balm to Sudatta's anxious heart. "Let me tell you a story." "Sudatta," the Buddha began, his voice steady and clear. "Once, there was a man who lived by the river, fishing daily to sustain his life." The Buddha then recounted a story for his disciples, each word resonating as deeply as the roots of the banyan tree. "Once, there was a young farmer who struggled daily to bring water to his thirsty fields. One day, a great storm arose, and the river overflowed, sweeping away his nets and his boat." Sudatta's eyes widened as he imagined the man's despair and helplessness. At first, the man wept, believing all was lost, the Buddha said, his tone calm and measured. But as the days passed, he discovered fruits and roots in the forest, learning new ways to sustain himself. The disciples murmured among themselves, reflecting on the deeper meaning of the story. The man realized that his dependence on the river had blinded him to the abundance around him. The Buddha explained, "Sudatta, fear arises when we cling to what is familiar, unable to see the possibilities beyond." Sudatta nodded slowly, his mind opening to the wisdom of the Buddha's words. "To overcome fear, you must cultivate trust in the unfolding of life and its endless potential," the Buddha advised. "But Blessed One," Sudatta asked, "how can I let go of the attachments that bind me so tightly?" The Buddha's gaze softened as he prepared to impart further wisdom. "Sudatta, attachment is like a rope that ties you to a burning tree," the Buddha said. "You must first recognize the danger to gather the courage to cut the rope." The disciples nodded in agreement, their understanding of attachment deepening with each word. "Practice mindfulness, Sudatta, and observe your attachments without judgment or resistance," the Buddha instructed. "As you see their impermanence, their power over you will diminish." Sudatta bowed his head, his heart filling with gratitude for the Buddha's compassionate guidance. "Thank you, Blessed One, for showing me the path to freedom from fear and attachment," Sudatta said earnestly. The Buddha smiled, his presence radiating warmth and encouragement. "Remember, Sudatta, courage is not the absence of fear, but the strength to move forward despite it," the Buddha concluded. The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts filled with inspiration and resolve to apply the Buddha's teachings. The forest of Jetavana echoed with the sound of birdsong, a testament to the harmony within and without. Sudatta rose, his spirit renewed, ready to embark on his journey of courage and liberation. "My toil feels meaningless, and despair consumes me," the Buddha nodded, his expression serene yet engaged. The Buddha, seated in serene composure, welcomed his disciples with a gaze of infinite patience and understanding. Sudatta bowed respectfully and spoke. Blessed One, I have begun to see through illusions. Yet fear and attachment still persist within me. The Buddha regarded Sudatta kindly, his voice gentle yet firm as he replied, Sudatta, the path of release requires steadfast practice. The disciples listened attentively, their hearts eager to absorb the teachings that unfolded like a lotus in bloom. Let me share a teaching through the story of a farmer, the Buddha began, his voice carrying a serene rhythm. This farmer labored diligently in his fields, planting seeds and nurturing them with hope and tireless effort, the Buddha said. The Buddha then sat upon a moss-covered rock, inviting his disciples to gather near. Listen, Maha, for I shall share a tale of another who wrestled with the stones upon his path. The farmer, overcome with despair, saw only destruction and wept for what he believed was an irreparable loss, the Buddha explained. The disciples exchanged glances, reflecting on the parallels to their own attachments and fears. As the storm subsided, the farmer found the rains had nourished the soil, enriching it beyond its former state, the Buddha said. Through his sorrow, he discovered that loss often carries within it the seeds of renewal and unexpected opportunities. He concluded. The elder approached and asked, Why do you curse the clay when it simply reflects your hands? The potter replied, I labor tirelessly, yet my efforts yield only imperfection. What am I to do? The elder knelt beside the potter's wheel and said, Perhaps the clay is not to blame. The disciples marveled at the profound imagery that encapsulated the futility of clinging to the transient. Release does not mean abandoning effort but approaching life with open hands and a heart unattached to the outcome, the Buddha said. But blessed one, how does one cultivate such a state of release amidst the uncertainty of existence? Sudatta inquired earnestly. The Buddha replied, Through mindfulness, you can observe your attachments, understanding their nature without judgment or resistance. The Buddha's voice was calm and steady, like a stream eroding the rough edges of a stone. Turning back to Maha, the Buddha asked, What does the potter's tale teach you? Maha? Maha bowed his head, absorbing the lesson. Sudatta closed his eyes, envisioning the impermanence of clouds and the infinite expanse of the sky beyond. With practice, Sudatta, you will see that fear and attachment are but passing visitors, not the essence of your being, the Buddha continued. Indeed, Maha, clarity arises not from frustration but from stillness and awareness. Blessed One, I fear that I may falter, that my old habits of clinging may return to entangle me, Sudatta admitted. The Buddha gazed at Sudatta with compassion, his voice steady and reassuring as he said, Sudatta, even the greatest river begins with a single drop of water. The disciples reflected on the significance of perseverance and the transformative power of consistent practice. Each moment of awareness is a step on the path, a drop that contributes to the flowing stream of liberation, the Buddha said. Do not despair when progress seems slow, for every effort plants a seed that will one day bear fruit, he added. Sudatta nodded, his resolve deepening as he absorbed the Buddha's teachings into the core of his being. Thank you, Blessed One, for your guidance and for showing me the path to freedom and courage, Sudatta said sincerely. The Buddha smiled gently, his presence radiating the peace and wisdom that inspired his disciples. May your journey be filled with mindfulness and the understanding that all efforts arise and dissolve like waves on the ocean, the Buddha said. The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts united in gratitude and commitment to the path of release. Yet, as the days passed, his net remained empty. The fisherman grew angry, cursing the waves and the fish that eluded him. Another day, the tranquil forest of Jetavana welcomed disciples seeking the wisdom of the Buddha, their hearts filled with questions. Sudatta stood among them, his face radiant but shadowed with concerns about the unknown future. The Buddha sat beneath the tree, his posture calm, embodying the essence of peace and presence. Sudatta bowed deeply and spoke, "Blessed One, I have embraced release. Yet I tremble before the uncertainties of what lies ahead." The fisherman heeded the sailor's words. He untangled his net with care and patience, and the sea yielded its bounty. "Let me share the story of a bird," the Buddha began, his voice carrying the rhythm of timeless teachings. The bird nested in the safety of its home, fearing to venture into the vast sky beyond its shelter, the Buddha said. One day, a storm broke the branches holding the nest, leaving the bird no choice but to fly, he continued. With hesitation, it spread its wings and leapt into the uncertain sky. Carried by the unseen currents of wind, the Buddha added. The Buddha smiled, his approval radiating like the morning sun. Carry this wisdom, Maha, for life's trials are but stones in the path. Some you may remove, others you may flow around, but none should block your inner peace. The forest grew quiet again. The disciples seated in meditative contemplation. The unknown is not an enemy, but the canvas upon which the colors of life unfold, the Buddha said. But blessed one, I fear the choices I make now may lead to suffering later, Sudatta admitted hesitantly. Come, let us continue our journey. For the path ahead always holds lessons yet to be learned, and so. The disciples followed, their steps lighter, their spirits brighter, carrying the Buddha's teachings like lanterns within their hearts. Imagine water flowing along a path. It bends to obstacles without resistance, finding new ways and shaping its journey, the Buddha said. To embrace the unknown is to flow like water, yielding without fear and trusting the path ahead, he added. Sudatta reflected deeply, his spirit seeking the wisdom to navigate the uncertainties of life with grace. Blessed One, how do I trust when fear seeks to cloud my perception and weaken my resolve? He asked. The Buddha replied, Sudatta, fear is but a shadow cast by the mind. It fades when illuminated by the light of awareness. Disciples closed their eyes, contemplating the presence and teachings of the Buddha in the stillness of the moment. The Buddha nodded, his serene voice carrying a deeper meaning. The lake reflects because it is still. Sudatta nodded slowly, his mind and heart opening further to the wisdom offered by the Blessed One. Even in the presence of fear, the path of truth remains steadfast, unshaken by the waves of uncertainty, the Buddha said. The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts united in the resolve to apply the teachings to their journeys ahead. Thank you, Blessed One, for guiding me through the shadows and showing me the light within the unknown, Sudatta said. Sincerely, the Buddha smiled, his presence radiating the peace and wisdom that inspired those who sought his guidance. May you walk forward without hesitation, trusting the rhythm of life and the impermanence of all things, the Buddha concluded. The forest of Jetavana stood serene, embracing the disciples as they prepared to return to their lives anew. Sudatta rose, his spirit fortified with the wisdom of embracing the unknown, ready to walk his path with courage. A lamp or torch to illuminate the path, Ananda replied, understanding the importance of light. Indeed, the Buddha affirmed. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.